The goal of the Riparian Plant Propagation Program is to increase the availability of locally sourced native trees and shrubs to be used in riparian or streamside restoration. So with salmon recovery ramping up statewide, it's important that there's enough plant stock available for restoration projects. So my program serves conservation districts and their partners, restoration groups, and nurseries. So we are working with these groups through 3 different phases of the program: propagation, cultivation, and restoration. So for propagation, we're working with the nurseries to ramp up propagation of native trees and shrubs. Cultivation, we are working with districts to then hold over these trees and shrubs until they are ready to be used in restoration projects. And then restoration projects, we're just matching up those trees and shrubs with the projects. Propagation under this program, that's about a 2-year process. It depends what the native tree or shrub is, because some of them take 3 years to be propagated to big enough to be transplanted into the ground or somewhere else. And so cultivation, that phase of the program, is where the conservation districts are then taking these little baby trees and putting them in the ground and trying to grow them out until they're mature enough, at least a couple years, so that the success rate is higher of survival to put into restoration projects. And then restoration is defined for this program as salmon recovery. So going out and planting these trees and shrubs on stream sides, areas that need to have more native trees and shrubs. That way there can be enough shade for salmon to survive going up streams, so that they increases their survival and can actually live in the stream. But it also helps with increasing biodiversity of other animals. It helps with erosion control. It helps with water quality management and cultural preservation as well. So far this year, we have already had 2 funding opportunities for conservation districts. One back in September, where conservation districts could just purchase riparian native trees and shrubs to then be grown out and put in projects. And I've already heard back from some conservation districts that are all done, and all their plants have been put into projects, all planted along stream side, so that's really great to hear. We had a second round of funding in spring, and conservation districts were able to use the funding for infrastructure, so for building holding sites, for greenhouses, materials and supplies, so that we could just have more holding sites around the state of Washington for the cultivation phase. And we really encouraged districts to work with nonprofits, state and federal agencies, tribal agencies, and just local communities. And so we had a lot of great success with that. We had some conservation districts work with tribes. We had 2 of them actually work with schools and get students involved. So a lot of exciting projects this year.